Hi guys, I'm Kamell and welcome back to the Duel Links Entertainment YouTube channel. Today we are going to be going over the Duel Links Entertainment Power Rankings. Now, what are the Duel Links Entertainment Power Rankings? Well, we are about to tell you, and today I'm joined with Circus and MCS number 24 Champion Emayy. Say what's up.
Yo, what's up?
Emayy.
And a co-leader of VS Clan, Kosmic Flare.
What's up?
All right, so firstly, Kosmic Flare and Emayy are part of a group that we have, for the time being, named the Power Rangers, and they are going to go over the power rankings every week. We'll take a couple of them and do a YouTube video like this and discuss how things are looking according to the power rankings, according to for certain decks.
You might call them Power Rangers. I call them experts. Experts. Deal with it.
Great.
I'm fine with both.
Yeah, both sound.
All right, so why are we doing the power rankings? Well, because a lot of people were asking for us to do a tier list, and we want to do something a little different. A tier list typically predicts what's going to be hot in the next week. We wanted to show you what actually happened in the meta over the past week in tournaments. So what we did is we took all the results from tournaments from the past week. The tournament had to have Swiss rounds into a top cut. So we have all the tournaments we have are usually 4 or 5 rounds of Swiss into a top 32. So real quick, the tournaments we used were the Battle Phase Monday and Friday. Those are our tournaments. The Myth Yard tournament, what is it, a qualifier tournament that he does?
Myth Yard Tournament Series qualifier.
Yes. The Alliance Cup put on by the Toxic Alliance. The Meta Weekly 117 put on by DLM. The Pharaoh's Cash tournament put on by the Pharaoh's Discord. So those are the tournaments that we sampled, and the results are on the screen. And basically the way it works, if you got first place, if the deck got first place, it scored 6 points. If it took second place, it got 4 points. And then third and fourth place got 2 points. And then if you finished 5th through 8th, it got 1 point. So those are the results on the screen. And I find them a little shocking maybe compared to the tier list. Don't you think, Kamell?
Shocking? Yeah, I mean, definitely some of the results for this week's power rankings, I definitely saw the seeds being sown for them last week. Certain decks were performing very well where people thought there wasn't going to be much of a spike in play. So yeah, I think the power rankings they're pretty accurate.
Right. So why don't we go through them a little bit here? What'd you think, Emayy? Looking at it, Shiranui in first place, 24 points ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 top 8 finishes in the past week.
Yeah, like with Shira, I think that's pretty like accurate from like the tier list, because like we bumped up to tier 2, and like the deck is just like very versatile because it can play a lot of tech cards. So like, you know, it plays like a bunch of traps, or you could play like Lancias. Like you have room for like everything. So like it makes sense that it's done pretty well this past week.
But it was tier 2. Oh, it was tier 2. Here it's number 1. Come on, that's a big difference, right?
Yeah, it is, surprisingly. But I just think it just takes into account like all the how like Shira changed this week. Like they played a lot more back row, which is like good against like tier 1 decks like Crystron. Like, you know, like it has like, we got a new card, Ballista Squad, which was seen play like this week, which was pretty good. Like lets you dodge like Floodgate, trap holes, or you know, other stuff that like would stop you from extending.
Okay.
Yeah, Ballista Squad has definitely seen play in the builds that won tournaments and did extremely well this weekend. Just another tech card that Shiranui can use very well in 20 card or 30 card builds.
Okay, so Invoked Element Saber, that's a tier 1 deck. It's second place here. Would you what do you think about that, Cosmic?
I think Element Sabers really are not only such a very strong deck, especially because the versatility they have from deck size, what can be teched in, etc. But I think that a big reason why it is second to Shiranui this week is simply because of the fact that E-Sabers tend to be the deck that people want to beat and they expect to see a lot of. So they're going to either main deck or side deck those tech cards. Like initially when the release of Lancia came out, immediately people were so excited because it was a way to stop invocation plays. So we see a lot of people now are able to not only main deck it, but main deck it comfortably, such as with Shiranui. We saw that Herbel in the previous Meta Weekly, he was able to main deck Lancia comfortably, not only because of just how hard it stops E-Sabers, but how versatile that one card is altogether. But of course, again, primarily it's for Sabers. But Sabres really are just way too strong. The back row they have is flexible. The fact they're able to play either Sorcery Conduit or Destiny Draw, they're able to turbo into their cards a lot faster. They play Malehu and Palace, so they're constantly thinning out their deck at a fast rate. It's just, the deck has been around for roughly half a year, and it's still just as strong as ever, despite its nerfs.
Well, yeah, it had 10 top 8 finishes this past week, and the 30 card version is the one that actually won the Alliance Cup. It had 15 traps in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Grucius was really able to just take that deck and perform with it so well. If I go based off my memory, he was playing things like Divine Wrath, Dust Tornado, Mirror Wall, and those are all not only very good cards to play in that deck or just any back row, but being able to play cards that we typically don't see, like Dust Tornado, and making it work in such a powerful deck is just insane.
All I know is if I played 15 traps, I would start with 4 in my hand. They'd all say you must discard a card to use it.
Terrible.
All right, so one I found surprising, or maybe not, is a deck we see a lot but doesn't win a whole lot, which was Thunder Dragons coming in third.
Yeah,
but it did win in the Mythyard tournament series.
Yeah, the explosion of Thunder Dragons this week is really thanks to the new card in the selection mini box, Chaos Dragon Levianeer. And this has caused a lot of people to pick up the deck and bring it into tournament play. Thunder Dragons have a new boss monster. And I'm not surprised by the amount of people that brought it in tournaments. In at least the past 3 tournaments, counting Battle Phase Friday, Thunder Dragons were in the always, like, if not the most of the top cut, they were a very, very good section. And Battle Phase Fridays, they were tied with Shiranui for the most represented in the top 32.
Well, looking at the stats here, they have 9 top 8 finishes, but 5 of them were just top 8, finishing 5th through 8.
Right.
So they definitely can get into the top 8, but then they get knocked out before they even move on outside of the quarterfinals. So, but they're playing the new boss monster as a one-of, aren't they?
I've seen some one-of lists, but I'm not sure like what is the best yet. Do Emayy or Cosmic, do you guys have any opinions on Thunder Dragons?
I play 3 of the 11 year in my list.
Okay.
Just because you mill so much, you have no way to get it back, really.
Okay.
So you always want to one to draw into.
Yeah, the deck list I was looking at last night from our tournaments, a lot of them were just playing it one-of. I was kind of surprised by that.
I think people are just playing it as a one-of just because it honestly was pretty expensive just to get.
Okay.
Yeah, and in regards to any of the most consistent or big lists that I've seen kind of top or win events, they usually consist of 2 or more.
Okay.
Me personally, I prefer 2 just because I feel that 3 can brick. But I mean, it's kind of like if you can comfortably not start up with 3 or brick in your hand, honestly, your hand's pretty broken going forward. So
okay. I did want to bring up Crystron's Tier 1 deck. Has 1 second place finish. That was the Meta Weekly. Why are we seeing the difference between the tier list and the power rankings?
I think a big reason is just the skill gap. Crystons are not typically the deck you can kind of just pick up and understand easily. There's a lot of thought that's put into it because a lot of Crystron monsters go into floating. You have to kind of determine how passive and aggressive you want to go on based on what turn and what your opponent has. So even if those things typically should be a rule of thumb, Crystrons really are just genuinely, honestly, a difficult deck to play.
It's a technical deck, really technical.
It's like if you're a Sylvan player and you got big playing Sylvans, you shouldn't be playing Crystrons. Like, it requires thought much.
Yeah,
But
it's a hard deck to play, and it's like easily countered, cited against in most of the tournaments.
yeah,
And I want to say that Crystron's initial success was due to the fact that at the time when it became strong, the players that were competent in playing Crystrons, they were playing them all the time because they're like, oh my god, Dark Lords aren't around anymore. I'm just going to play Crystrons. They're going to be tier 1. And they are extremely powerful, but when it comes to representation, right, and performance in tournaments, which is what the power rankings are about, it exposes the fact that Crystrons are not highly represented in top cuts of tournaments because the few players that are good, there's a lot less of them playing than there are these other decks. You see Shiranui or Element Saber or Thunder Dragons, there's 30, 20 of them in the tournament. Crystrons, you're going to be lucky if there's if there's 5 people playing Crystrons in a tournament.
Right. Yeah. Obviously the top 3 decks on the list here, they have just multiple top 8s, whereas the Crystrons in a week have 1 top, and they took 2nd place in the Meta Weekly. So
right.
Obviously it's a little bit harder to play. Shiranui, is that just a helmet deck now?
Yeah, it's like you just play Squire, and then you either level log into level 10 or make a 6 for a follow-up next turn, and then you set 2 to 3 back row.
And you're good to go.
Put
your helmet on, charge.
Chain.
That's how it is now. So.
Yep.
All right. And we did want to give an honorable mention to our boy out there, GoldenEye. I know he didn't actually play the deck, but I just want to shout him out because Stromberg on the list. It did get a top 4 in the Mythyard tournament series. Who was piloting that deck? Do we know?
I think it was the guy named Cancer. I don't
that's right, Cancer.
Oh yeah,
that's so
Cancer.
fitting. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to shout out the Stromberg crew. So there you go.
Yeah, and one final point that we should make is one of the core differences between this and the tier list. Just because I know people are going to ask about it, right? So we were discussing this last week when we were trying to decide what to do for this segment, and we came to the conclusion that the tier list is a lot more predictive of what the meta is going to be based off of a certain set of results, whereas the power rankings is just 100% data, right? It's reactive to the events in the community, and then we discuss the results. And then we can make the compare and contrast between the tier list because that's an important discussion that people want to have.
Right?
How does the tier list translate over to tournaments?
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, tier 1 decks: Blue Eyes, Crystrons, Element Saber, Invoked. Obviously, Element Sabers did well, but Blue Eyes came in what, 5th? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 tops, and none of them passed top 4. So there you go.
Yeah. So just bringing you the
Dark Magician's not even on here, is it? Oh, it is.
You got a top 8 and a top 4.
Yeah, so there you go. Dark Magician, tier 2 deck. Shiranui, obviously the top. Thunder Dragons up at the top. But look at this. Tier 3 decks: Blackwing, Cyber Dragons, Dark Lords, Lunalights. I would say these are all in the honorable mention portion of our list.
Yeah, they all got 1 placement in the top 8 each.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see if this list will help influence the TPC. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will definitely see. We're going to try to get these videos out every Sunday. Yep. So stay tuned for those Sunday morning. Anything else, guys?
Predictions.
All right. So firstly, to our boys in the comments, how do you think our rankings will affect the tier list going forward, and how will it affect tournament play? And now our guests, predictions.
I think, yeah, I think this list here would like influence TPC a bit, just because like this is actual like data, and like most of the TPC members play in like all your tournaments, so you know they see how everything's doing compared to like what the tier list is. So I think this will like I'll use this list for sure to help me decide my vote this week. So.
Do you have a deck you just want to throw out there? What's your prediction for next week? What's going to be number one? We'll hold you to it, too.
I mean, Thunder Dragons for sure will be
all right.
tier one.
We'll keep note of that. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video because we're going to be trying to do this every week right here on DLE. So if you like it, like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord, follow us on Twitch, do the Twitter thing. What else am I missing, Kamell? Is that everything?
Yeah, just
comment.
Hit
Make
up
sure
the
to
Discord. Comment. Hit the Discord for the tournaments. All our tournaments are on the power rankings. If you want to make the power rankings, enter a battle phase tournament today.
That's right. All right, so we'll see you next week with the power rankings. So take it easy.
Peace out, guys.